Hello everybody, hi Steve. We are here today to talk about one of our main style, Xing Yi Quan. Can you tell us, Steve, what is it, Xing Yi Quan?
Xing Yi Quan, is one of the inner martial arts that we practice here. And it's an inner martial art. This means it aims to create movements from softness. And specifically also for Xing Yi Quan to create powerful explosive motions. So finding explosiveness, speed, efficiency for fighting through releasing the body and not tensioning the body. This is Xing Yi Quan in a nutshell. You can also see a bit deeper into what is Xing Yi Quan by looking onto the history or the legend of Xing Yi Quan. I'm not really the historian, so for me where it comes from and all the things are not so important. I'm not so much researching these things, but I like these basic legends that are told that tell a bit what the practice is. One of these legends is about Yue Fei, which was a very famous general in the old China. He was a very profound spear fighter, so he developed a system which was copying and using the spear fighting motions into a fist fighting system. And so you see later in Xing Yi, it's a lot connected to the spear, the movements, the way you stand, and therefore it was easier for the soldiers to learn this art because they knew already the stances and the poses and just had to bring it into a weaponless fighting system. This is one part of it, of Xing Yi Quan. Other part is that Yue Fei was also Eagle Claw master of Eagle Claw Kung Fu. And therefore you see also some principles, some ideas of Eagle Claw, but also the directness of Eagle Claw in Xing Yi Quan, and even sometimes specific movements that you can say coming from an Eagle Claw style of Kung Fu. And the last influence we have in Xing Yi Quan is also the 5 elements traditional medicine. And they say also Yue Fei was known in this system of Chinese medicine, and therefore also Xing Yi Quan is very much influenced by the knowledge of Chinese medicine. And every basic has a purpose of restoring balance in the body and healing the body, basically.
Can you tell us what are the most important practices in Xing Yi Quan?
The most important practices are first of all Standing Qi Gong. We have the pose Santi Shi, the 3-body standing pose. Then we have the basic step work, 2 kind of step works. The entering step, Jinbu, and the Guobu, the passing through step, which are all about bringing the structure of Xing Yi that you gain in the Santi Shi Standing Qi Gong into movement and learning to go fast into the opponent, into your fist motions. And then we come to the last important basic, the 5 elements, which are 5 different fists that basically bring this power development principles into 5 different directions, and connect their movements directly with the organs of Chinese medicines.
So when I started to train Xing Yi Quan, I was standing in every beginning of a practice, we were standing Santi Shi. So in the beginning we started with 7 minutes, then it grew into 10, then it grew into 20, even until 30 minutes to each side. So can you tell us why? Why is it so important to stand Santi Shi?
Why is it so important? So first of all, Standing Qi Gong is very important for all inner martial arts, in my opinion, if you ask me. So it's not something exclusively for Xing Yi Quan, that it's special and important. I would even go so far and say if there is a secret in Wudang, it's the Standing Qi Gong. It's the thing that sometimes is the hardest to do, because it's quite exhausting to stand longer in these positions, and it can be painful. And it consumes time. But at the same time, it is changing also so much in the body and creating a base that is so fundamental for inner martial arts that it is, for me, like a secret. For Xing Yi Quan, to be more specific, Santi Shi is so important because it brings the basic structure into our body. It teaches us to let go of unnecessary muscle tension, to not hold the body, but to release into the body and stay in a posture. to release the muscles so the fascias can take over the holding process. And this is then also very important to later become fast and powerful through tendon power and not through muscle power. Some power that is more like a bow and arrow that you can charge and release, that is very flexible and elastic, very fast, and it doesn't rely on muscle tension and is therefore also not exhausting so much. Yeah, so sometimes people wonder, how is this good for fighting in Xing Yi Quan? This is almost the most important for fighting, in my opinion, what you gain from Xing Yi Quan in the Standing Qi Gong. The second point is that this position is very focused on the fighting. So if you look at Santische, you see you protect the most vital zones with the front arm, the lower arm protecting the groin area. Yeah, your body and your leg work your leg positions are directly placed, so you have this very strong forward urge and forward step work inside your posture already. So it is a very basic stance for fighting, very close maybe also to some boxing stances existing. And therefore it's also very good for building up posture for fighting. The last point that I want to point out next to the fighting and health aspect is the mental, almost spiritual aspect that is happening in Standing Qi Gong. For standing over longer periods, you need to build up willpower. But not willpower in the sense of forcing myself to stand and I have to be strong to stand, but actually the opposite. You could almost say weaken the will in a way that you can stand without caring. You know, you just stand. You don't need to push yourself to stand, but you kind of let go into this position. You let go in all what happens there, into the time you give, into also pains that arrive and thoughts and fears that arrive. You give yourself into this and you just stand in a way of, letting everything be, giving everything its space. And this is a very powerful practice that we need in Xing Yi Quan, to enter into a way of Wu Wei, that we not enter always into this fight of we want to be strong, so we create tension. We want to stand long, we want to reach a goal, so we need to fight for it. No, but to allow ourselves to just be and to let things happen. And this is a process that is happening in Standing Qi Gong. By standing, you are there, you stand, and you have no choice. You have to go through this time, right? And if you do this a lot, you will see, first of all, you start to observe this inner conversation. Pain is arising, you want to stop, and then to tell yourself, okay, I can still stand. With the time you realize, when I give up on this inner conversation, should I stand, should I not stand, it's painful, what to do, you're going into this fear moments. When you let go of this, you interrupt the circle that I call pain-fear circle. Because what is this circle? When I'm afraid, my pain gets stronger. When I have pain, my fear gets stronger. And like this, in Standing Qi Gong, our mind is increasing the pain-fear by itself, right? And to exit this fear-pain circle is very simple. Just be there and let go. And it's not simple, it's very difficult and it requires a lot of Standing Qi Gong practice.
In Xing Yi Quan, one of the main practices is Fa Li. Can you tell us what it is and what is so special about it?
Fa Li, first of all, translated means sending power. So it's basically a term for using the body to create powerful movements, to send power through the body. Therefore, it's all about this holistic, full body power. The power of Xing Yi Quan is all about being softer. Because the more soft I am, the more I can send through my body effortless. The more I have tension and stagnation, the harder it is to really let this communication of the whole body happen and use the body as one unit. Because the communication will be always blocked somewhere. So it's all about learning to use how my step work connects with my center movement, how my center movement can accelerate and guide movement through the body, and how eventually my periphery, the fist or other parts of the body, can then send all this power out of the body to create explosive, fast, or also very structured motions. There you can maybe separate a bit into two kinds of Fa Li. One is more about staying in the body, using the structure to move an outer object. Yeah? So I stay very short in my movement, I stay very structured in my movement, I use the structure and the movement in space to make other mass move. And we have Fali that is more about sending power out of the body to do bigger motions, to do very explosive motions that then bring the power really out and through an object. Maybe here the other will not move much, but the power will go in and will do harm inside the body. You will feel it very strong inside. They say Xing Yi practitioners in ancient times, they could really like punch and kill with that, addressing specific organs and creating a lot of harm by sending the power into and through the object. This movement looks maybe more impressive when you do it in the air, because it is very powerful, explosive, very fast. But when you do it on an opponent, it might look less impressive, because the opponent will not move, will not be manipulated in space so much as in the short Fali. The short Fali is a bit the opposite. It looks, when you do it alone, not so impressive because it's very small. But then when you touch another opponent, it looks very impressive because the person will move. Yeah? So this just roughly explain two ways to use Fali. One is more about structure, one is more about explosiveness. But both rely to the whole body connectivity, to the structure, and to the idea that I can use my body in chains, almost like a whip, that make the power go through the body, and that I can use it also to accelerate the movement.
In my first year of training Xing Yi, we were mostly practice standing, step work, and pitch one. So why is it so? Why we practice so minimalistic? Why we don't have more exercise?
Yeah, so you basically have the three main basics, right? Like the standing, the walking, and the first fist, pichen. And this minimalistic training of Xing Yi Quan is shown in a other small legend, yeah? Which explains a bit the idea of this way of practice. Yeah? So once there was a student that came to a famous Xing Yi master and started to practice their Xing Yi Quan just before the master was going for 1 year on a journey, traveling away from his school. Before he went, he showed the student the first element that he taught, which was Bung Chuan, yeah, this wood fist. Mm. And then he left for his journey. So all the student was practicing for 1 year was this Bung Chuan, always the one movement, one fist, boom, 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 again and again, yeah? Many hours a day. When the master came back from his trip after 1 year, he was asking all his students to perform what they practiced. And all the other students, they showed all kind of movements, forms, yeah, animal motions, very impressive things. And then this one student came that only did Bung Chuan, and of course all the other students were like laughing and a bit like, oh man, the poor guy just practiced one thing the whole year. So the master was looking at them and then asked one of the more advanced students that practice a lot of things to come forward and to have a small sparring match against this Bung Chuan guy. And of course, the Bung Chuan guy, he didn't know anything. So all he knew, all he trusted in, all he wanted to do, all he thought he can do is Bung Chuan. So the fight started, and he started with his Bung Chuan, intercepted the motion of the other, and finished the fight with one punch. Yeah? And this was is a very good example for Xing Yi Quan and the idea of Xing Yi Quan, to rather do one thing, but to go really, really deep into the one thing, instead of spreading your attention to all kind of different motions, and therefore not digging deeper into the practice. Because internal martial arts is all about to dig deep, not just Xing Yi Quan. Yeah, but Xing Yi Quan is very symbolic with its practice for that. To go deep, to work on more inner mechanisms, yeah, to develop this kind of Wu way, this letting things develop naturally through constant repetition, through persistence. But it also requires that students come with a certain patience and openness to work like this, because in the West we are very used to, let's do this, now I know it, now I want to do this, and then I do this. And if something is good and valuable, is always dependent on how much do I have. Yeah. So how many forms I learned, how many basics I learned is always, did I finish to learn the form? Only then it's complete and valuable. But sometimes it's better to just learn the beginning of the form and practice the beginning of the form for 2 years instead of learning the whole form and not understanding any movement and deepening any motion of yourself through that. Yeah. So in the end, every practice we do is a tool to look at yourself. The more I have to look at the practices, the less I have time to look at myself. So practice less, so you have more time to look to other things. Okay? I mean, practice less material. Practice more to dig deeper. Yeah?
Xing Yi Quan is connected to the 5 elements from the traditional Chinese medicine. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Xing Yi Quan has the 5 basic elements, yeah, which are first of all about 5 different fists that bring 5 different directions and how to develop power in 5 different striking directions, basically. At the same time, these 5 elements connect to Chinese medicine and therefore also to the organs of our body. Yeah, we have Pi Quan, which is metal fist, connecting to the lungs. We have Beng Quan, which is the wood fist, connecting to the liver. We have Tuan Quan, water fist, connecting to the kidneys. We have Pao Quan, the fire fist, connecting to the heart. And we have Hong Quan, connecting to the spleen or to the intestine as the earth fist. Yeah, these are the 5 element fists. And now often I get asked, how is this connected now to medicine, to healing, to the organs? And first of all, in a very simple way, yeah, because if you look at the elements, you see that every element is either working or connecting with the level of the organ. Pi Quan, very direct, attacks to the lungs, but also creates the powerful motion on lung level. Beng Quan is doing the same on the liver level. So when I create power, I need to connect to this area of my back where the liver is located, and therefore you can say you start to activate, bring movements into the liver area, and ideally also balance, strengthen, and revitalize this organ. Then we have Tuan Quan, for example, which in a diagonal way. Yeah? Tuan now is not so obvious in the beginning because it goes up to the throat, yeah. But its power development and its elbow alignment goes diagonal to the kidney area. So I need to activate also here and become aware of the level of my back on kidney level, and therefore also again bring movement into my kidney. And the same we have with the other organs as well, yeah, with the heart and with the stomach area for Hong Quan. Another small factor of this 5 elements is this like idea of Xing Yi Quan about learning to shapeshift, I say. That I'm able to be different qualities. Every element has different quality. In Pi Quan it's more about structure and this metal kind of feeling. Yeah? Beng Quan is more about a springing fist, more dynamic, flexible like wood. When you later do this in application, you also see the qualities of the elements, how they connect to the fist movements and how they bring you, I would say, ideas, concept for fighting. And then also again, this like shape shifting. For a fight, it's very good to be able to change your face, you know, to change your shape, to copy a rhythm of an opponent, to be one time more like metal, one time more like fire. If you're only one quality in your life, you're very limited in your tools. But if you learn to bring the 5 elements into yourself, to be all different kind of shapes, and later with the 10 animals in Xing Yi we train this even more, you get very flexible in your character, in your way of movement, and then later also in a way of addressing a fighting situation. So far for today, thank you, Tamar, for the questions, for being here today with me. Thank you for you guys at home for watching this interview about Xing Yi Quan. Short information for you. We have now very soon coming up a seminar, a camp, and a whole month of intensive Xing Yi practice. Yeah, we will do on the 23rd of March. We start with a 2 days basic seminar with Tamar. She will lead that. Afterwards, we will go into a whole month of deep diving into the basics of Xing Yi, yeah, from the 23 of March on. And this intensive month will end with a camp, 4 days of doing more advanced basics of Xing Yi Quan with the 10 animals. Either you can join a seminar, a camp, yeah, or you join the whole thing and train full time with us here in the school, sleep, eat, repeat, and practice Xing Yi Quan for a whole month. It's going to be fun. It's going to be also hard, but with many good people around here, it's going to be a good time of practice, learning, and exchanging.